So let's go on to questions. Go for it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Secondly, what sort of proportion of the total grouse shooting that was going on have you so far managed to ban, stop, or in the process of doing that? How much still to go until we've got it really ready to go?
Yeah, well, in terms of Ilkley Moor, the contract itself ends in 2018. We're seeing massive pressure on the council. We're meeting with councillors, council leader all the time. And the feedback we're getting is they don't want to end it all. They've had enough of the campaign, they've had enough of the bad publicity associated with it. They want it got shot up. We see across, for example, the country, it's quite a different situation because simply it's a lot easier to pressure a council than it is to pressure a private landowner. But again, we're seeing with things like the National Trust, the discussions happening, the questions are being asked, why are no birds afraid? Yeah. Why, which is quite a common sense answer to you and me, but these questions have been asked, and we've seen discussions that National Trust have held a consultation about 2 years ago now, asking people, do you want our land managed for grouse shooting? They've got an overwhelming no. So they're taking little steps at the moment towards that. They've not announced a complete ban. They've obviously got the shooting fraternity lobbying, which is a quite powerful fraternity in terms of any lobbying industry, if you like. So yeah, there's quite a lot of pressure. It's building up. There's the debate happening. It's quite early days, but once the last public grouse shoot goes, it sends a signal. You know, it's only a matter of time until the next one's got, and it's illegal. Various organisations really. We don't really do the traditional hunt stab approach with things because we've got such a wide support base really. We've got people from, for example, local teachers at schools and things, and older people who can't perhaps run across the moors. So we take a different approach really. So we go for example, the picnics in front of the gardens, the games of cricket. That type of thing, just to engage a wider audience really, because it's very much a community campaign.
Do you work with the League Against Sports with this? They have something similar?
Yeah, we work very closely with the League and with Animal Aid as well. Both organisations have been fantastic with supporting us. They've helped us in a lot of ways, right down to helping us get publicity, giving us advice on various legalities, various research and things like that. So yeah, whilst we're representing within a local base, if you like, within Yorkshire, there's obviously the wider debate going up in Scotland as well with the SNP. They're just passing a bill at the moment where if grouse moors aren't managed for the public and wildlife interest, those grouse moors get seized from private ownership and put into the public hands. The League have been very active in that, and we've been working very much together in as many ways as we can. Go for it.
So when you're going up there and sort of intervening in these hunts, do they not close areas down for hunting?
No, it's public land, so they can't legally shut it down. Last season they tried to get security guards out. We basically, we knew what we're up against, we knew the law, what they could and couldn't do. So we just got headless and security guards breaking the law, breaking the regulations, handed that to the council and said, if you're breaking the law on your land, what are you going to do? They can go there again. So we went back up and stopped the shooting.
And when that shooting stops, because people have paid so much to do it, I mean, do they just sort of bump it up and go at another time? Or?
No, with the grouse shoots, it's very different to a hunt in the way it's organised. A hunt, if you can imagine it like with the master with his pack of hounds, he can go out with his whipper in, just arrange it, over the mobile, which will go out to everyone, yes. With the grouse shoot, it's different. People pay up to maybe 6-9 months in advance. Some of the grouse moors you've got a 2-year waiting list for example. So those people have booked in for that day and that day only. If they don't shoot, the shoot has to pay compensation back, which I think the total sum from last year was £750,000 they had to pay back to shooters campaign. Next question, sir.
Thank you very much. Do you think this horrible vile thing will eventually reach Parliament and Parliament might debate it?
Yes, certainly. There's a lot of support support within Parliament. I mean, we've already, for example, reached the Scottish Parliament at the moment with the SNP passing the land reform bills, which now the private land to be passed in public land. That's a massive achievement. Go back 3-4 years, there's no debate or grouse shooting at all. We see, for example, Mark Avery and the RSPB are very much speaking out against this, albeit they've got different approaches to when police should license to grouse laws. Those of us with a bit more clued up, shall we say that the Cotswold can't license a grouse law. It's just unworkable, we want a ban. So yeah, there's that, and we see, for example, there's a lot of pressure. We see a lot of MPs discussing and debating it. Incidentally, we see a lot more of the conservative areas, the conservative held wards, which tend to be where the broadly grass laws are the people that are signing the petitions. We look at the demographic of who's supporting it, and we're receiving quite a lot of conservative support, incidentally and oddly enough.
That doesn't surprise me because the new Conservative, there's sort of a sea change.
Yeah, certainly. And again, I mean, for example, Bradford is Labour held, so we've got the two dynamics there. So we see the Labour, I mean, it's common sense, they're against blood sports, they want growth. We see a lot of Conservatives now coming over, so it's going the same way as box hunting.
A lot of Conservatives are against box hunting now.
Yeah, certainly. So it's a whole sea of change that's happened. It seems to be quite a few at the top, shall we say, of the party who are clinging on to these old ideas.
I did say all, but more.
Yeah, certainly. Any more questions?
The grouse themselves, are they all naturally there, or is there any breeding?
Yeah, so if you look at it, it's quite an interesting, it's quite polar opposites of pheasant shooting or other types of game bird shooting. With pheasant shooting, you see the industrial farms, the industrial labour units, which is literally millions and millions of birds, cats, and just released out to the wild for shooting. With grouse laws, it's different. You can't breed a grouse in captivity. They're very particular birds that just don't like captivity, they won't breed in it. So the way they get around it is they create a microenvironment, if you like, so the moor itself is the breeding farm. So they just manage it that way. There's the argument that without grouse shooting there would be no grouse. It's nonsense, for example, because grouse are naturally there. We see it in Scandinavia, they don't have grouse shooting, but they've got plenty of grouse. We see it in Russia, plenty of grouse, no grouse shooting. The grouse that they do shoot are the excess stock that they have created through this management of the moor. Go for it, it's gentleman effect.
You mentioned earlier that the shooting fraternity is still quite a powerful lobbying influence. I wondered, given the extent and the breadth of the evidence that you gathered and other organisations have put together, how do they exert that power? Where does that come from? Because
it's quite a funny one, really. They bury their heads in the sand. See lead shot, for example, we can all see the effects it's having on wildlife, but there's also the effects on people as well. We see a lot of people who consume game, for example, getting lead shot into their systems and things. The shooting fraternity, they're running campaigns to increase the sale of lead. Sorry, not to increase the sale of lead, to increase the sale of game at the moment. They're not going to turn around and accept this evidence that lead is poisoning people, poisoning the environment, because it'd be bad for their campaigns.
But when it comes to the councils and when you're confronted by a situation where you're putting your point across, and you have an opposing point presumably being put across by the shooting fraternity, what is their point?
What's quite interesting is they write to the council, they write to Bradford quite regularly. They say, hey, look at all this fantastic work we're doing. We turn around and say, where's your scientific evidence for this? It's not that. And we come out, we present the scientific evidence, we present the biodiversity reports that have been done on Ilkley and other moors, and say, this is what the scientists are saying. Who are you going to listen to? People with self-serving interests or a bunch of independent scientists? The council, by their very nature, have got to go with the scientists. And it's the same with the national government as well. I mean, there's only so many lies the shooting industry can make up without their company blowing. This lady's here.
I just wondered what's the best way to support your campaign. I live on the south coast, so unfortunately I can't have the picnic.
Yeah. You're always welcome for well, I think the best thing you can do, because grouse shooting is very limited, in that it's to the uplands really, it's to the Yorkshire, up to Scotland. You can go online and you can support Mark Avery's petition to ban it and get a national debate, which is fantastic to see. I think the other thing to do is, we don't just stick to grouse shooting, we want all shooting banned. So if you go inside or ask your MP and lobby them to sign 402 to ban the cage rearing of birds for pheasant shooting, that's another good thing you can do.
Why grouse in the north and pheasants shooting in the south?
Pheasant shooting is not just in the south, it's all across the country, but grouse, they only live a certain level above sea, a certain number of degrees or feet above sea level, so they can only live in the far uplands, if you like, and the hills around the south just aren't the right habitat.
Do we not have grouse in the south?
No, apart from over in Wales, that's the closest to the south we go.
So anything you see around our way in Kent would be pheasant?
Yeah, it'd be pheasants or partridges.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They're quite, I mean, all game birds they're pretty similar because they all come from the same genetic strain, but the partridges are quite similar to grouse.
Right, that explains things.
Yeah, that's right.
How long does a grouse live for?
Good question. I think they live up to 3 or 4 years. But naturally, yeah, they're not very long spanning birds, and they get quite a lot of disease, most of which comes from the shooting industry's management techniques. So almost, if you imagine, quite a lot of the moors that manage for shooting. So it's not very long lifespan. Maybe the breeding birds might last maybe 1 to 3 years, but if you imagine they're all scared towards guns, and the guns aren't going to pick and say, hey, I'm going to choose a young one rather than an old one, or vice versa. So it's always difficult to say. Without shooting, I'd say maybe 3, 4, 5 years. Any more questions? Oh, this space. Yeah, they're an indigenous species. Their name in Latin is Novo Scotia, which originates from obviously up in Scotland. They came down and then stuck in the uplands, coming down to Yorkshire. Any more questions? Okay.
What's the population of rats actually?
It's difficult to say because there's different counts and the research isn't really published, and it's kept within the grouse shooting community, but I'd say it's probably a few million. We're going to have to cut it short now because it's quarter to, and we've got the press competition next. So anyone